All right, so the stream is starting again. Let me turn the audio off on this so we don't hear that. And then our YouTube is starting again. Okay, let me unmute that audio. And testing audio. Okay, so you should have audio now. Because I'm going to scratch this, 1, 2. And I've got this audio muted, so the only place I can hear audio should be YouTube. If the audio is working, what I might do is we'll have Aaron. Oh, no, you got the tone. But is okay? I'm going to do a test 1 2 1 1 2 1 2. Mute that. Okay. I wonder if you're listening to the live or if you're looking at a previous.
I'm on live. That's why I keep logging back into it.
Okay. Yeah, well, tone was on the previous version.
Okay, if I leave my home, so you can see what's happening.
Let's see. Okay, I have YouTube on my phone. So I found my user website. So this is going to be. You guys generally do the ST for St. Paul?
Yes, that's good.
All right. So it's live right there. See, that also sort of ends. It says was live 13 minutes ago. Oh, no, this one here says it's live. Okay, I heard it there. All right.
So you go and you'll delete all this stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So Aaron, can you mute the program audio now? So I want to, your current stream size is lower than recommended.
City of North St. Paul City Council meeting, regular meeting for January 5th, 2021. I'd like to call the meeting to order. This time, exciting night. We have two new candidates, or two new council members here. We're at City Hall. We're trying to do social distancing as much as we can. That's why the council is not here. They're on Zoom. It's just myself and the city manager who are here at this time. And then the council members are here with us swearing in. So at this time, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give the oath of office to the newly elected officials. The first person will be Tim Cole, and I'll meet him at the podium. Welcome, Councilmember Cole.
Thank you.
So at this time, your wife, Kelly, will hold the Bible for you, and we'll do the swearing in, the oath of office. So if you want to put your left hand on the Bible and right hand, or left hand, right hand. City manager, what is it? Left hand?
Raise my right hand.
Raise your right hand, right. Left hand on the Bible. So, I, Tim Cole,
I, Tim Cole,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of the office
discharge the duties of the office
of council member
of council member
of the City of North St. Paul,
of the City of North St. Paul,
County of Ramsey,
County of Ramsey,
to which I have been elected,
to which I have been elected,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And at this time, I'd like to present to you the North St. Paul pin. Kelly, if you want to put that on him.
Thank you, Mayor.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So at this time, if we are going to take a break right after I swear in Lisa,
Okay.
and then we can take some pictures at that time, and we'll take about a 5-minute break. So at this time, Lisa. Welcome, Councilmember Wong. Delighted to have you here tonight. This is your husband,
Yep, husband,
William.
William Peterson.
Nice to meet you. So at this time, put your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. I, Lisa Wong,
I, Lisa Wong,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of the office
discharge the duties of the office
of council member
of council member
of the City of North St. Paul,
of the City of North St. Paul,
County of Ramsey,
County of Ramsey,
to which I have been elected,
to which I've been elected,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. This time, you also can. So at this time, we'll take a little break. You guys can take some pictures real quick, about a 5-minute break. Each of you will be in a different room. So our Zoom calls will all be separate. So at this time, we'll take about a 5-minute break. Congratulations. And the crowd. council members here at this time? Are you getting feedback at all? Because I'm hearing a little feedback here. We're okay? Okay. So at this time, the meeting's been called to order. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. If you keep your microphones muted, and I'll recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, Jenny, if you could take the roll. Here. Quorum is present. I'd like to welcome the new council members. So welcome, both Lisa and Tim. So at this time, a motion to adopt the agenda. Moved by Councilmember Peterson, second by Councilmember Cole. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, actually, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Jenny, take the roll. Aye. The agenda is adopted. At this time, we have a presentation. And I'm honored to be able to give this to this person. And we'll meet him in just a second here. So at this time, I'm going to go to the podium and I'm going to welcome Dan Fisher, who is a recipient of our Legacy Award. And Dan, if we can meet you at the podium. Dan, this is Dan Fisher here, who's a recipient of our Legacy Award. And it's an honor and a privilege to be able to give this to you tonight. I'll read you a little biography on Dan. As co-chair of the Veterans Park Committee, Dan Fisher had the primary responsibility of the design, planning, and development of the park project. Despite the fact that he resides in Oakdale, we won't hold that against you, but he does live in Oakdale, but it's only half block east of North St. Paul, so I'm sure he considers North St. Paul his hometown. Dan worked tirelessly to build a unique memorial for the local veterans and military services. Even though this was a team effort with contributions from many local citizens, it may not have succeeded without the strong leadership of Dan Fisher. The city of North St. Paul is thankful for Dan's contributions and dedication to a park project that many generations will enjoy. Dan, it's, like I said, it's an honor to be able to present this award to you tonight. I know that I recruited you a few years ago, and I just said it was going to be a short time. We'll build this memorial, this park, and there won't be any extra work beyond that. So Dan, from all of us, the city, city council, and the citizens of our city, we're honored to be able to present this to you tonight. So Dan, thank you.
Sherry, thank you.
I don't know if you want to say a few words.
I'm stunned that all this hard work, which is a team, the team did it. But on behalf of the team, this is their award. I have to say that it's a labor of love, that we can do this for all the men and women who served in the United States Armed Forces, past and present, and for their service and sacrifice. And Veterans Park has surely hit a home run. Thank you, Terry. You're part of the team. You're our liaison to the city. And I thank all the members out there who were past and present. It feels good inside to have it succeed so well. I also want to say thank you to my wife, Jerry, who supported me on all of this. Thank you, Jerry. And appreciate it very much from the city of North St. Paul and the veterans and their families. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Dan and I go back quite a few years, so it's really a privilege to be able to give this to you tonight. As a dear friend and someone who, we came together as a group, like you say, and it was a team effort, but with your leadership and the leadership of all the other ones. And they're going to get an award too. The Veterans Park Committee is also going to get an award too, but I want to thank you again for all the hard work that you've put in. And I'm also going to give you a whole stack of pavers so that you can go out and get, yeah.
Thank you. We just ran out. We're up to 1,332 pavers, and we just ran out of these. So, thank you. It's a living monument, and it will be there for as long as the city of North St. Paul is here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dan.
You bet. Terry, what the heck?
Yep.
Thank you.
Moved by Councilmember Thorson.
Furlong.
Aye. Can everybody hear me? No? Can you hear me? Nope. So.
gonna snow again, and we get a lot of flack from citizens when we plow one day and we plow the next day. Oh, I never knew you could complain and say, stop the plowing, stop the filling of my driveway. Anyway, I just said, no, that's interesting. So the next day, Tuesday, I had an appointment at Suburban Square, 94 and White there, early in the morning, 7:30. I came back, and as I get to, the roads were fine. They were, winter condition, nothing strange. But as I get to White Bear and Lavender, I thought, I'm going to go to Mary's and get a haircut. So I took a ride on North St. Paul Road, through Maplewood. Very interesting. We hit McKnight, went up 7th and down the hill on 7th into downtown, and was approaching, I was kind of looking around, was approaching the intersection with Margaret, stepped on the brakes, nothing. The only thing that was happening was the pump on my anti-lock brakes going thump, 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 and there was nothing I could do. Slid right into the intersection and just missed a car that had gone through. Solid ice. The intersection was solid ice. So now I had to get the two-wheel drive pickup in motion. Took a while to get through the intersection. Went to Mary's, had a haircut. Came back, came to the intersection, but this time I'm wiser. You don't have to teach me twice. And I'm doing about 15 miles an hour up to the intersection. Cars are behind me, they're not too happy with me, but I was able to ease up and stop. Just the time I stopped, the car was making a left-hand turn from southbound Margaret to eastbound 7th, made the curve, slid right into the curb. I thought, man, I'm going to go back and get some. Well, it's too bad that the Polar Lounge Cam isn't live video, because this would be fun, watching the cars trying to get through this intersection. I get back, went home, I make the call to Ron Ritchie, and I says, Ron, what is going on with that intersection? He said, we're on it, we know it, we are on it. The city manager says no salt on the new concrete, we got to come up with a solution, but we're working on it. And I said, well, if you can't fix it, I got a wheelbarrow and a shovel, and I'll go over to that ugly pile of ground up aggregate, and I'll fill the wheelbarrow and I'll start spreading it. They said, oh no, you won't do it, we'll fix it. Well, according to the camera, when I looked at it later at, I think, 10:07, they finally got a North St. Paul truck with a, I think, portable sand spreader out there to spread sand. Now, why
Okay, John, I appreciate it, and, I mean, I can have the city manager, but this is something that, has already been probably corrected since you've, been on the road. So, city manager Dudek, do you have any input for that, or?
No, we've had some discussions on some of the concerns in the downtown, and the downtown is definitely an area of concern with the new concrete. And yes, we're very concerned about putting salt on $1 million worth of concrete in the downtown. And we have moved to what used to be done on a regular basis using sand, and that is available, and looking at some other things. But sand is available, and we're continuing to use that and plow on the smaller snowfalls. And I think what John's describing is the standard plowing for North St. Paul has always been, we don't plow unless there's 2 inches or more of snowfall. And what people are, and this is just people in general, I think all of us are becoming more and more to almost like a zero tolerance need. And it's a safety issue. There's no question about that. But in the past, it's always been, if we receive 2 inches of snow, we plow. If we don't receive that much, we don't. And there's been several occasions where, and I think more so to be plowing under less than 2 inches, because it saves on the need for salt. If we can scrape it off rather than putting on so much salt, is beneficial. But it's becoming a need, or it's becoming a just something that's a foregone conclusion that people expect, that we have clear streets throughout the winter. And you'll see that especially on the private side, where you'll go into these parking lots and they're literally white with salt. And we're trying to balance, I think, the safety of those things and also the environment. I mean, we're attending, yearly watershed best practice and trying to conserve on salt and cut down on salt and things like that are going into our wetlands, but also trying to strike that balance and keeping our roads clean and clear. And I think potentially that will take place with plowing more frequently and less than those 2 inch snowfalls. But we are talking about those practices, and plowing in North St. Paul has been something that we've always been proud of for years, and we won't let that change.
Okay. Thank you, city manager. Thank you, John, for your input. Is there anybody else out there who would like to address the council? I don't think as John mentioned, I don't think we don't have a raised hand or anything. So
no, it's not on the feature tonight. If somebody else is listening on here and would like to speak to address the council, please acknowledge yourself.
Okay. Doesn't seem like we have anybody. So at this time, we have no public hearing. We do have some city business and action items and recommendations, and I'll turn the meeting over to City Manager Dudek.
Mayor, council, thank you. And again, welcome to our 2 new council members. Excited to have you with us, and starting out the new year. We intentionally had a light agenda this evening so that we could take care of the swearing in ceremonies, and the items that we do have on here on the agenda are primarily annual resolutions, with the exception of the first one. And the first item that we have for general business is a joint powers agreement with Metro INET. And the reason that one is at this first meeting is it's something that we're trying to get in place for the start of the new year. What Metro INET is, it's a group, it's basically our IT support staff, and it's not a staff within the city. This has been a shared staff, originally started by the city of Roseville. It's still maintained by Roseville, so all the IT staff are actually employees of the city of Roseville, and it's been in place since nearly 20 years, I believe it is. We're up to now since 1999. We are now up to 43 different cities, watershed groups, different organizations that share IT services through this group. And it was a group that started through Metro INET or through Roseville to help neighboring cities. Well, that helping of neighboring cities just continued to grow and grow and grow. And this is something that we've been very proud of. It's something that the goal of this is keeping costs low. So a good example of it is like our IT phone or our IP phone system. When we went onto our first IP phone system here in this City Hall building now 16 years ago. The cost was X. Well, as all these additional cities have come onto the phone system, because the base equipment is the same, as this group has grown, those costs have actually decreased for the users. So my point of that is that this group really has the goal of providing a high quality service, high security level, staff that's basically roams from city to city, if you will. Right now, there's all of the remote desktop functions so that they can do remote desktop from anywhere. A lot of staff working from home under these times, obviously. But again, this has been a group that was formed to help all cities keep their costs down and not having each city having to contract for services through individual private contractors. So we've been very, very happy with this group. And the reason we're bringing this forward now as a joint powers agreement is we've grown so large, and this is again, all these employees are currently the employees of the city of Roseville. Not that this would happen, but what we're concerned about, the group as a whole, including Roseville, it would only take currently the Roseville city manager or Roseville council to say, we don't want to do this any longer. And 43 cities would be kind of left holding the bag and having to scramble quickly to put something else together. So the infrastructure that's been built with this group over the years is phenomenal. We don't see a replacement for this in the private side. There's been lots of effort looked at this. And so it's been over the last year plus talking about this JPA. This has finally come together in a contract form. We've had multiple cities, there are city attorneys looking at this. The League of Minnesota Cities has also looked at this agreement and has gone through all those processes. Our city attorney has also reviewed it as he has for other cities that they represent. And so with that, I'm recommending approval of the JPA with the Metro INET group. If the council does approve this, then ultimately there would be a board formed within this new JPA, and those board members would be members from the existing cities. So the cities are going to be making the decisions. So it's not going to become some, corporate model that we're not going to have control of.
So at this time, any questions for City Manager Dudek?
I have a question, Mayor.
Councilmember Peterson.
Yeah, is the cost going to be the same and the services are going to be equal or better or?
There won't be there's no changes in cost. At this point, there is likely that we would see a cost increase in 22, but that's going to be decided on the board that's formed by the cities. And the only reason that the cost would increase would be on the city's needs. So whether it be, security software, additional personnel, those types of things, but those costs would increase based on our users or based on our use of the system.
Any other questions for City Manager Dudek? Not,
Yeah. I know you can't see me, Terry, so I'm just gonna.
Yep, go ahead, Scott.
And so I had a chance to kind of glance through the minutes here and look at this, but how are these member cities going to be represented again? Scott, can you just go over that in a little more detail?
Yeah, so there will be a board. There will be I can't remember if it's a 7-panel, and even that's yet to be determined, 7-panel or 9-member board, operating board that will be elected from the group of the 43 cities. So that board will meet regularly to conduct business, but all 43 cities will also attend normal meetings, but then that regulatory board or that governing board per se will make the final decisions with the input of all the cities.
Okay, so there's not, I'm just trying to, wrap my head around this and how it's going to function where you say, we are already a member of this Metro INET, and we have been, but now it's going to kind of formalize, and there's going to be some sort of, executive board, but then cities are also going to have a representation, but the board is the ones that ultimately vote on it. So I guess my concern is like, how much of a say does North St. Paul actually have if, we are only taking up a small, I guess the comparison might be how Maplewood was a member of the Washington Ramsey Cable Commission. And, they were pretty much, since they had the largest population, they took up most of the voting power. And then when left, that created a huge hole for the budget. And, I understand it's a little different scenario here. We're talking about cable and IT service here, but I mean, with the way they put up and how are we talking, we're going to have a council liaison, or are we going to have a member of our North St. Paul, a resident, sit on this to represent us, or how is that going to work?
No, this would end up being at the staff level. I.e. likely city managers, finance directors, people like that will end up being elected as board members on the board. But then each city, all the cities we've been having regular meetings with this for years. So all the member cities will have routine meetings. Then what's going to happen with this is this panel or this board of 9 will end up making the final vote or determination moving ahead with, if we're going to add an employee or if we're going to add a software, we're going to change some policy. But those board members will be elect or city officials, whether it be city managers, finance directors, or somebody else appointed from the city staff level. That will be who the board is made up of. And we talked about just what you just brought up, is that we don't want this to turn in some of the different commissions and things out there. This was started on a very grassroots nature in an effort to keep costs low. And that's really the basis behind that, to continue that effort, but to make sure that this group that's been formed and built over 20 years can stay together. And it takes that responsibility off of one city. Right now, one city is shouldering the total payroll, everything for this entire group. So by the formation of this JPA, these employees would fall under employment under the JPA, and likely the city of Roseville will end up being the fiduciary responsibility. So the finances would flow through their finance department, but it would operate independently. So it wouldn't be controlled by just one city.
Okay. And I'm assuming that all meetings would fall under open meeting laws and they, follow.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
So it seems the main driver here is just that right now Roseville's brunting a lot of the front of this, or at least, the costs are being shared, but, the responsibility for them, because like you say, if they just said, you know what, we don't want to do this anymore, then we would kind of be left scrambling to figure out, well, what are we going to do? And
That's exactly it. And there's no, there's nobody trying to pull the rug out at doing this, and Roseville, says that themselves. There's no intention of doing that, but for everybody's sake, we felt that this is the best way to handle it, so everybody is covered and has a say in it, and that it's a long-term, cost-effective group to do this. And it's worked well. I can tell you that going through this, we've had groups looking at the private side to see how those costs compare, and it is far, far, far ahead staying in with this group. And this is not like a 10-year contract or something like that. We can opt out of this at any time. We're committed to it basically for the year, but we can opt out of it anytime that comes to play. But again, I can't stress enough that this is really grassroots at the city staff level, and to make sure that we keep the cost in check for all of us.
Okay. Yeah, that was my next question, is what is the time commitment or, contractual obligation? I didn't see anything in there if that was kind of similar to where, in the cable commission where you have a 1 year ongoing membership and then you have to give notice by a certain date.
Right. And that's what this would be, so that you can set, each one can set budget, because again, the costs are distributed over all the members. So that's why that's in place, so that we know ahead of time, because if one city leaves, some of those costs will go up because now they're distributed over a smaller group with the same amount of equipment.
And the only reason why I bring up these concerns is that I'm just a little cautious about, maybe some larger cities, they want to expand and get into services that might not necessarily benefit residents of North St. Paul, but here then we're stuck fronting the cost for something that we're not utilizing or paying for. But it sounds like, if that were to come up, we'd kind of be able to hash that out and discuss it. And,
Yeah.
if something that comes up, hopefully it's, budget wise allocated appropriately. So.
Absolutely. And this is primarily, again, our phone system, our servers, our desktop support for Microsoft, for our email and things like that. It's all the desktop support. As the web-based applications that we've been currently working on, the new website and some of the finance software, our permitting online, our licensing online, our park reservations, those are all web-based platforms. So that is really separate. There's really very little involvement of this group, and cities can do whatever they choose to do on that. That's on their own. So this is more of the, more of the heart of the IT, I guess I would call it, more of the storage, the internal storage, file storage on servers, phone systems, desktop support, things like that.
Councilmember Thorson?
Yeah, one last just question for Scott here. So you said there's roughly like 43 different municipalities, whether they're cities, townships in there. And then is there any discussion on that growing, or what do they know?
Well, I can tell you that, when we moved into this 20 or 16 years ago, I think it was at 20 at that time or something even less. And so there really wasn't a lot of talk about it expanding, because this started out, Roseville, we're going to help out our neighbor. We're going to help out, Lauderdale, or we're going to help out Maplewood, or we'll reach out and we'll help North St. Paul. It's getting a little farther out. But this just continued to grow farther and farther and farther. And what's allowed that to happen also is internet and fiber connectivity. A lot of these cities are connected, have fiber connectivity, either through our fiber. We're connected to Roseville, we're connected to Ramsey County Libraries. Roseville has a large fiber network similar to us, or probably even larger. So those fiber optic connections connect to other cities. So all of that, everybody is leveraging assets that they have of their own ownership within each city to benefit all. And that's what's really helped to keep these costs down.
So maybe even down the road, that might be a discussion if council is still interested in kind of getting out of the fiber optic business, that Metro Inite might be interested in that. If that's, would that be outside of the realm of what their role would be, or?
Well, really, the fiber, I guess, the fiber that Metro Inite has, or that each city has, is strands to make that interconnection to those groups. It's not, Metro Inite is not providing commercial services to, commercial companies. It's all municipal based, if you will. So it's cities, it's local governments, it's libraries, it's watershed districts, things like that. They're not, because they're all city employees, we're not providing services to commercial businesses. Okay. So likely not.
Question I have, Scott, city manager, is so each municipality, the larger the city, do they have more of a voting power than other cities?
There is a, I don't have it, I can pull it out. There's a calculation on your vote, on how it's weighted based on your city's use of the system. So, you know, a small city that may only, because again, this is how the cost is distributed based on how many computers there are, how many users there are, how many phones you are. Everything is distributed based on use. And there is a weighted, and I don't have it right out in front of me, but there is a weighted vote based on the number or based on the utilization of the network.
Has this been vetted through the city attorney at all?
Yes, it's not only gone through our city attorney, it's gone through the League of Minnesota Cities and several other attorneys, but our attorney Soren Maddock is on and can comment on it.
Welcome, Soren.
Welcome, everybody. So we have reviewed this agreement. We've provided our comments and they've been incorporated in there. I don't really have anything else to add regarding Scott's comments. It's one of those things where it is hard when you've got so many different parties trying to sign on to the agreement. I think it does a nice job for the city. The questions that are being raised are fair. I think both the representation and the cost sharing elements are in line with what represents, I'll say in the broadest sense, fair. It isn't something that you're working with other communities. So this isn't the strike the best deal necessarily. It's amongst government, are we being fair with each other? So you can always play with these formulas. This formula seems to make sense. And I certainly had no problem with moving it forward should you be interested in these services.
Thank you. So at this time, the motion is for a resolution approving joint powers agreement for the establishment of the Northeast Metropolitan Area Municipal Internetworking Collaborative to be known as Metro INET. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Councilmember Thorson. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Peterson. All those in favor signify.
Jump on. Yes, that's right.
Okay. Second by Councilmember Peterson. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Jenny, if you take the roll.
Councilmember Thorson,
Aye.
Councilmember Peterson,
Aye.
Councilmember Cole,
Aye.
Councilmember Wong,
Aye.
Mayor Furlong.
Aye. Motion approved. City Manager Dudek.
Mayor, Council, thank you. And just to follow up with that, I intend to stay, very involved with that. I've always attended all of our ongoing meetings with that and would continue to do that and potentially see even about becoming a member of that board with that group. So intend to stay active with that.
Good.
Next item that we have is, and again, these are next ones that are coming up is our annual, basically our annual resolutions. And that is our annual resolutions, which is our investment committee, our depository bank for city funds and securities.
City Manager, we have one before that, the council appointments.
Oh, I'm sorry. I jumped right over that one. Let me go back to that.
We're all so excited to have the new council members tonight.
That's right. We are very much so. Very much so. So 2021 city council appointments. And again, reminder for everyone this evening, we're going to be doing the city council appointments to the different committees or commissions. And we will follow up with citizen appointments to those commissions that are needing to be restaffed on the January 19th council meeting. So this evening it'll just be city council members. So with that stated, the following are recommended for your consideration, and that would be that Mayor Furlong be appointed as council representative to the Economic Development Authority and chair of the Housing and Redevelopment Authority. Council member Thorson to be appointed as a council rep to the Economic Development Authority, Housing and Redevelopment Authority, and the North St. Paul Business Association. Council member Peterson to be appointed as a representative for the Housing and Redevelopment Authority, Metro Cities, Ramsey County League of Local Governments, and also as acting mayor. Council Member Tim Cole to be appointed as a council representative for the Park and Recreation Commission, the Silver Lake Improvement Association, the Housing Redevelopment Authority, Ramsey Washington Metro Watershed District Board, the Silver Lake Improvement Association, and the Valley Branch Watershed District Technical Advisory Committee. It sounds like a lot. And it was kind of intentional that with the parks, with our Silver Lake improvement and the watershed, they kind of all tie together. I can tell you that we have 2 watershed districts in North St. Paul. We have Valley Branch Watershed District that basically takes in Silver Lake, and our Ramsey Washington basically covers the rest of the city. So that's why there's two watershed districts with that. Just wanted to clarify that. Council Member Lisa Wong to be appointed as a council representative for the Planning Commission and also our Housing and Redevelopment Authority. So those are the appointments that we've listed for your consideration, Mayor, and let you have conversation or discussion from there and seek your approval.
This time, a motion to approve the city council appointments, 2021.
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Thorson,
Yep.
Second.
second by Councilmember Wong. Any other discussion? If not, all
Yeah,
those,
just
oh, go ahead.
question
Go ahead,
before we-
Councilmember Thorson.
I'm just curious, I noticed there's, typically we have a council member who's a liaison to each of these commissions, but there's no environmental advisory commission or the, what's the other one there? I'm drawing a blank.
Historical review.
Design historic review. What, do we have update status of those 2 commissions or what's going on with that?
So the intention, those were on hiatus last year, and at this point, they would continue to stay in that status, and I guess we would take a look at whether we, leave them in that hiatus status or if we formally disband that. And I think there's a potential for that, at least one of them, as we look at how that may interface with the Planning Commission. So at this point, those are on hiatus, but look for maybe a more permanent action to come.
Yeah. Well, just to clarify, the Environmental Advisory Commission has not met since December 25th of 2017. And the Design and Historic Review Commission had 1 meeting in 2020 on August 4th. And before that, they had 1 meeting on June 6th, 2019. And then they met, 5 times in 2018. So I'm just, I mean, I understand that, these roles of commissions and stuff change and whatnot, but if they're not going to meet on a regular basis, then we should just not have them. And then if something comes up where they need to be reformed and then they meet on a regular basis, we do it again. But I don't agree with just keeping them in, hiatus mode. I think it sends mixed signals or what have you. It's just not, in my opinion, the right move to take. But
I think that'd be a good topic for a workshop.
Sure.
So we had the motion with the second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Jenny, if you could take the roll.
Councilmember Thorson,
aye.
Councilmember Peterson,
Aye.
Councilmember Cole,
Aye.
Councilmember Wong. Aye. Mayor Furlong.
Aye. Appointments are approved. This time, City Manager Dudek.
Mayor, Council, thank you. Our Finance Director, Jason Zimmerman, are you available there?
Evening.
Welcome,
Jason.
Hey, Jason, I just wanted to give our Finance Director an opportunity. The next 2 items that we have are our investment committee and also our depository for our banks and security funds. And I just wanted to give our Finance Director an opportunity to comment on that.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and Council, Scott. Yeah, so the next two items are the depositories and then the investment committees. So as in the prior year, Councilmember Thorson and Mayor Furlong have sat on that investment committee. I think we've done a good job with that, and we'll continue to bring forward those reports as we've incorporated in OpenGov and the information forward to the rest of the council for review as well. But to continue that as we have done, and then also the list of our depository banks, also which is incorporated into those reports that we put together. But Premier Bank is our main checking and savings account for bank, and then with the 4M fund as well, and then with U.S. Bank as well, we have investments held with those institutions. So just looking for approval to continue the same with those institutions, and then the investment committee as well.
So again, thank you, Jason. So again, to recap, the investment committee would be then Jason Zimmerman, our finance director, Mayor Furlong, Councilmember Thorson, and myself on the investment committee, and then the depository banks as listed as Jason described there. So that would be requesting your approval for this annual year.
So at this time, we'll do each motion separate. First one is the motion for the annual resolution appointing investment committee for 2021. Is there a motion?
So moved, Your Honor.
Moved by Councilmember Peterson.
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Thorson. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Jenny, if you take the roll.
Councilmember Thorson,
Aye.
Councilmember Peterson,
Aye.
Councilmember Cole,
Aye.
Councilmember Wong. Aye. Mayor Furlong.
Aye. Motion approved. At this time, second resolution is the motion for designating official and supplemental depositories and depositories for investment purposes. Is there a motion? So moved by Councilmember Cole,
So moved.
I'll second.
second by Councilmember Thorson. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Jenny, if you take the roll.
Councilmember Thorson,
Aye.
Councilmember Peterson,
Aye.
Councilmember Cole,
Aye.
Councilmember Wong. Aye. Mayor Furlong.
I have to abstain because I am now working for Premier Bank. Today was my first job, so if you drove by the teller today, I was behind the teller line, so I do have to abstain for that vote. Motion is approved. City Manager Dudek.
Mayor, Council, our next item then I believe is our annual resolution for our city attorney. So once again, we're recommending Campbell Knutson as the law firm for our 2021 with our primary contact as Soren Maddock, our city attorney. And so with that, I'll have that recommendation for that continuation.
Can we have him on the Zoom while we vote against, or vote for him, or?
I think there's several lengthy, long questions.
Yeah.
I believe.
Let the attorney joke start.
Yeah. So at this time, the resolution retaining Campbell Knutson Law Firm as city attorney for 2021. Is there a motion?
So moved, Your Honor.
By Councilmember Peterson,
I'll second.
second by Councilmember Thorson. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Jenny, if you take the roll.
Councilmember Thorson,
Aye.
Councilmember Peterson,
Aye.
Councilmember Cole,
Aye.
Councilmember Wong. Aye. Mayor Furlong.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion approved. City Manager Dudek.
Mayor, Council, the other item we have is designating our legal newspaper for publications for the city, for legal publications. And this would continue as what we've had last year, would be the Minneapolis Star Tribune. So looking for your approval for the official newspaper.
Okay, so as part of the resolution, there is a typo in there. It says whereas in 2019, that should be 2020. Just to make that correction there. So the motion is for the annual resolution approving Minneapolis Star Tribune as official newspaper for 2021. Is there a motion? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Cole,
Second.
second by Councilmember Wong. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay.
Hold on a second.
Go ahead.
Question, discussion. So I know, when Lily News, basically closed, that's who we traditionally would always use. And then we had staff look into Pioneer Press and the Minneapolis Star Tribune, and it seemed like the Star Tribune, can you refresh my memory, City Manager? Wasn't it that they had greater circulation and they were like three-quarters the cost?
Yeah, cost was less with Star Tribune, and the circulation was far exceeded the Pioneer Press.
And I mean, I don't know, have we had any feedback from residents about, if this is an issue? Or, I mean, I'm just trying to think if there are other more local, like there's the Press Pub that covers White Bear Lake area, and I don't know, they don't typically cover our area, but is that something that anyone's ever looked into to maybe get a little more local type, I don't know, coverage? I mean, everything nowadays seems like it's so internet based that it kind of is moot, but I don't know.
And that's an effort that, we're obviously moving to more and more, that we're our own publication and advertising on our web and reaching out to things. Maybe I'll let our city attorney comment on this. Again, the most part of this is used for legal notices and things. And I think at least our residents here, we're doing in a lot of cases direct mailing on planning commission items and things like that within affected areas. But I'll let our city attorney comment.
Yeah, Councilmember Thorson, when Lily News, I mean, that's the most logical newspaper for North St. Paul to use. And so when they were no longer an option, then it became, the law does have certain requirements in terms of circulation and which newspapers would be an option for the city of North St. Paul. And after looking at the various, I'll say smaller and more local options that, you're bringing up, really the only ones that qualified were the Star Tribune and the Pioneer Press. And I think there was some discussion about, the Pioneer Press, it's on the east side, things of that nature. But when we looked at the circulation and the price differential, it really came down to the Star Tribune. From my perspective, the law still requires certain things be noticed in the newspaper. And, I think there's reasons for that. And one of them might be the newspaper lobby. I don't think it's the most effective form of communication anymore. I think people, as Scott has mentioned, go online, and whether it's web page or just internet searches. But be that as it may, the law still requires certain publications happen. And so it is one of those necessities right now. And I think given the circulation requirements and given the cost, the Star Tribune was the best option that we were able to come up with after Lily was no longer an option. And we don't really see any, it's not a matter of just going out and picking one. There are certain
So we're under a state statute that says, hey, if you're required as a municipality to publish notices, and if you have a local newspaper, that's the one you use, correct?
Yep, that in a nutshell.
Don't have, and then you're required to use, the next largest one type of thing is what kind of.
Or
I know
if
that
there were another local newspaper that, did cover North St. Paul, so to speak, that's something we could certainly look into. I forget the name of the one that you mentioned before, but I just don't think they met the criteria under the statute to be a newspaper that we could utilize.
Okay. And that's just, again, it's kind of an archaic rule that probably the legislature at some point might address to say, hey, it's 2021 now, and you utilize your own website for all the postings, which I imagine everyone's doing, and I know we've been doing for quite some time. So I just wanted to revisit that in case there's something else that's changed, but I have to answer.
No, fair questions and points.
Kind of like Councilmember Thorson, the cable everyone's getting away from cable now too and going to streaming and all that. So I agree that things change over the years. So we do have the motion. We did have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye, opposed, nay. Jenny, if you take the roll.
Councilmember Thorson,
Aye.
Councilmember Peterson,
Aye.
Councilmember Cole,
Aye.
Councilmember Wong. Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. City Manager Dudek.
Mayor Council, I believe that was the last item. We covered the acting mayor under the appointments with the resolution that you passed earlier. So that was the last business action item.
Okay, reports of city manager and departments.
Yeah, I guess, again, the reports have always been focused on development and things proudly, and we'll continue to do that. So the Anchor North site, you can see the storage building continues to evolve down there. We did close on the sale for the construction of Quick Trip. We closed on the sale of that land on December 22nd. So that has officially been sold, and look forward to Quick Trip starting construction early spring of 21. And that will be a quick process. I think their build time is like 115 days, or it's a pretty quick process for their build. They do all their planning and material orders and contracts well ahead of time. So when they start, they have a quick process. So we'll see a Quick Trip open for business down there, I'm sure, mid to late summer, probably, I would be my guess. And also continuing to work on the Anchor View Apartments, on the closing of that, back working actively with that. Again, we extended the closing date on that for financing and appraisals and just different items associated with the closing of a project of that. So again, that's a plan to close on or before the end of January. And we're actively working on that, have a meeting actually on that again tomorrow. The development in the downtown on 7th Avenue, the old City Hall site, as we continue to refer to it. You can see that is taking shape. The precast decking was all set in place with the crane that was set up down there for that week or 2 week period. That's all in place. They now have temporary heat going in the lower level so that they can be working on groundwork and things in there and doing their finished grouting of the surface. They'll be doing in-floor plumbing work and getting prepared to floor the floor of that parking garage lower level. On Monday, I believe, if everything stays as planned, they are planning to start framing of the structure. So you'll start seeing framing, start seeing walls and things going up. They're estimating a 11-week time period to frame the building. So that's what we'll be looking forward to and watching that building grow. So lots of activity going on. Also on Monday next week, the traffic signal cross arms and the steel items are planning on being delivered on Monday. So then Collins Electric, who has the contract for that, will be out there also Monday or Tuesday to begin work on installing the traffic signals in the downtown. So that work will continue, and hopefully this mild January weather that we're having right now stays with us for a while and to help the crews that are working. I can tell you that, and a message we want to get out to any of our lunch providers in the downtown businesses that we have. We want to really promote that out. With the contractors coming in to start working in the downtown, we'll have probably 50 to 60, contract employees working downtown on this business. So we really want to, or on this building. So we really want to promote that out and try to help our businesses in the downtown and take advantage of those people that are coming into town. And, I think that's just the start of what's coming as we build all this out and the activity and the additional people that we're going to have in and around the downtown. Which brings me to another subject that I want to throw out for, I guess, just for pondering some thought. And I'm going to bring this up in our staff meeting tomorrow to talk about it. But we're starting to see, as we grow, and parking needs in the downtown. We've got residential parking in the people in the downtown now, and throughout our whole entire city. It's not like it was when a lot of the city was built out, where you had a single car garage and a single driveway and a one driver. There's 2 cars, there's 3 cars, there's maybe more. But in our downtown, that problem is already starting to show a little bit of having cars parked on the street. And we relaxed that basically all throughout the summer and even into the early winter here as construction was going on. But we've told the apartment tenants and managers, over a month ago that we need to, fall back and get those cars back into the parking lot so we can go back to our winter plowing operations, which what that does is no parking in the downtown or on the downtown streets from 1:30 in the morning till 7 o'clock in the morning to allow for that, allow for maintenance, snow removal, hauling, things like that. And we've had cars that are on the street regularly throughout the night and throughout snowfalls and things like that. So it's a problem. It's a problem that I guess I'm anticipating is only going to get much worse when things start, opening up and we have these people down there. We've taken a lot of, open space parking that was maybe not necessarily really parking, but people found it and used it. But now that we've got buildings on it and things like that, things are different. But some of the ideas that I want to think about is our municipal parking lots, of the possibility of changing some type of parking ordinance to allow people to park in those municipal parking lots. And I don't have a plan by no means, but just talking out loud, it's something that we look at, that maybe there's an allowance of people park there and we have a posted routine time, because we obviously can't notify them when to move out of the lot. But maybe it's on Tuesdays and Thursdays at from 1 to 3 o'clock or something, that there's no parking in the parking lot, so that the lot can be plowed complete and things like that. I don't know, but ideas on something we can do to start looking at as we're going to grow our population in and around the downtown.
I think the council members can kind of give some thought to it, and we should probably bring it up at a workshop.
Right.
Rather than
right.
discuss tonight. Let's
Yeah,
bring it up
exactly.
at a
I
workshop.
just wanted to throw it out to you so you had some time to think about it, and that is definitely something that we would bring up in an upcoming workshop.
Okay. Any other?
I guess other items, just as an update, work on the development on 7th Street, the townhome development on 7th Street, that has been progressing. I believe the developer is planning on a building permit submittal with the intent to start the first model, I guess I would call it, first twin home unit to likely start probably late January, early February, to get a unit built and ready. They want to be prepared for Parade of Homes this spring.
Okay. Thank you, Scott. At this time, typically it's reports of council, commissions, and committees, and I'm assuming that the new council members really haven't had much chance yet to get on your committees and commissions, but I'll just go through the through the program here to just get you familiar with the way it's done. So typically at this time, the reports of council, commissions, and committees, and other council members may have something here, but I would look for Council Member Thorson at this time.
Yeah, we're have the Business Association meets every month, second Tuesday at 11:30 at American Legion, but those meetings have been postponed due to the coronavirus, and I'm not exactly sure when they're going to start up again, but we'll keep you updated. And then the EDA is, I believe, scheduled to meet again this month in January, the second Tuesday of the month at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and those meetings are taking place on Zoom. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Peterson.
Yeah, League of Minnesota Cities had their year-end board meeting. We gave a few plaques out to the retiring members. There's no new dues increase. We're going to keep it the same because of the COVID, so that'll help our budget a little bit. They were thinking about raising it, but we just thought it wasn't fair for our members. And I want to encourage Council Member Cole and Council Member Wong. There will be a workshop, and it's going to be virtual. And I know Terry and I have gone to it. It's going to be a 6-week program.
I believe they signed up for it, Candy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
No, that's good.
I'm just encouraging them because I learned a lot, and I go as an experience. In fact, I'm going to be an instructor this time, and it's very well worth it. So that's good. Have a Zoom meeting on Thursday. Talk about the policies that we did over the summer. We'll adopt that, and we're going to watch the legislature real close and see where they're at. This year, I know they just started today, so there won't be much going on. That's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Can I ask you, Councilmember Peterson, what are you going to be teaching at the conference?
Well, I just how I was as a newly elected, newbie. We were all green at that time. We didn't know what was going on. What is a closed meeting? Just some good information. There's a bunch of us that are good. I'm not taking over the show or anything. I'm just putting my 2 cents in because I'm kind of experienced now after 10 years. I feel I have that. It's a very good, it's going to be different because it's usually a day and a half and it's going to be over the time frame. And I think it'll work out for your schedules. Thanks.
Thank you for doing that. At this time, Councilmember Cole.
I look forward to all the council appointments that were bestowed upon me this evening, and I look forward to working with each and every one of the each and every one of the groups. I am excited to retain my continued works with the Park and Rec. I think this will either be my 4th or 5th year. I am filling in some pretty big shoes. I believe when I started on the PNR, Terry, you were the liaison. And after becoming mayor, Councilmember Peterson stepped into that position for the last 2 years. So I've got some big shoes to fill, and I'm looking forward to continue working with that great group as well as meeting everyone else from the other committee assignments. Next Park and Rec meeting is going to be January the 27th at 6:30. They will continue to be Zoom meetings. And we're looking forward to the weather turning warmer so we can get back out into the parks and have some socially distanced PNR meetings.
Good. Thank you. This time, Councilmember Wong, and you are muted.
All right. I'm looking forward to the Planning Commission as well, and especially with all of the changes that are happening in North St. Paul. I believe that the meeting for January 6th is canceled and will be rescheduled for early in February or late January. And I'm looking forward to potentially the 2 new planning committee members that will be joining. So that's all I have.
Good, thank you. So at this time, typically we talk about general business that you may have in regards to city outside of your appointments. So at this time, Councilmember Thorson.
Yeah, nothing really major except, based off of earlier conversations. Scott, Manager Dudek, do you happen to know off the top of your head what the city spends in their annual publications, or what we spent last year maybe, or just a rough ballpark figure?
What do you say publications you're talking about?
That we have to publish in the Pioneer Press.
Oh, no, unfortunately, I do not. I can get that, but yeah, I don't have any idea.
Well, is it under 5,000, under 1,000? I mean, I don't know how much they charge. I mean, the reason I'm asking is maybe this is something we can ask Leon and Chuck to, they're always saying, hey, what do you have anything you have for us that we can bring up at the next legislative session? Maybe this is one to say, hey. let's get rid of this old rule. You know, it seems like something that could get bipartisan support. You know, get rid of this old rule that everyone has required to pay newspapers to publicize something that can be done. You know,
and I would only be guessing, but I would say yes, it's something under 5,000.
Okay, well, I'm sure that, you know, larger cities, you know, it's probably a much more expensive thing, but I don't know. Maybe that's something we can follow up with them if anyone's in communication, or I'm happy to send an email to. And then just to circle back to the open to the public comments about snow plowing, you know, it's just one of those jobs that you can never make everyone happy. You know, some people expect the plows to be out there as soon as the snow starts and to not stop until it ends. And other people, you know, they want the snow that live on roads or plow more snow into the ends of particular driveways, or purposely try to knock down garbage bins, which they've all been accused of doing, which is, you know, I just don't get it. But again, it's just people get upset and anxious, and, you know, long winters, and now couple this with, you know, everything that everyone's been dealing with over the last year with the coronavirus. So, you know, I would just encourage people to take a deep breath, relax, have a little patience and understanding, and know that they're out there doing their best. And, you know, it's not the easiest job in the world. And maybe some of these people that are retired, you know, maybe if, you know, our police department offers ride along so the public can get educated and understand what they do. Maybe that's something we can look into, that, you know, if people are interested, maybe you'd like to wake up at 4 a.m. when a plow route starts and ride shotgun with public works employees and see what all goes into a plow route in a day and everything they have to navigate around and deal with. And, you know, but again, I get it, you know, especially when you're living on a border city and their schedule isn't mirroring what ours is, but we're doing our best. We can always improve, but, you know, again, just let's start this new year off with a little more positivity. I'd just say that's all. Happy New Year to everyone. That's it.
Thank you, Councilmember Thorson. Councilmember Peterson.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things. I appreciated receiving the crime and call statistics. I thought that was very good from Chief Love. I hope we can get it a little bit more often. It was interesting to see the breakdowns on the crime, and so we could talk to it. I want to wish Erin Purdue, she got a new job. She's no longer with WSB. I suppose you guys already know that, but I want to wish her good luck. She did a very good job for our city. I've known her since we did, I wished her well today. And I want to do a shout out to Cal at Pizza Factory. They had a collection for the food shelf. They got 648 pounds of food, $258 cash that they gave to the food shelf. So again, our community is there to help people, and it's a great place to live. And I want to welcome again Tim and Lisa. Welcome aboard. I don't think we'll be too rough on you. Got to watch Scott Dudek, though. He's kind of a tough guy. But welcome aboard and Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Peterson. Councilmember Cole.
I just want to say again, thank you for the next 4-year opportunity that I've got in front of us. I'm excited, and I look forward to everything that's going to be thrust upon me. I take it that Councilmember Thorson and Councilmember Peterson are going to go easy on both Lisa and myself. But other than that, I have nothing else, Your Honor.
Thank you. Councilmember Wong.
just really to echo what Tim said, Councilmember Cole said, and it's a real privilege to be here, and I'm very grateful. I'm looking forward to the next 4 years to be, working here and for the city and for the community. So very honored. So thank you.
All right, and the only thing I have is I'd like to welcome the 2 new council members. And I also like to kind of what Councilmember Thorson was saying, that, 2021, I'm glad we got 2020 behind us. It was a very difficult year for not only, staff, but council members, but also the residents. We're doing the best that we can. We're not trying to, to make people's lives miserable, but we're trying as best as we can to make things better with the circumstances that we did have in 2020. We hope that 2021, I know for the next few months here, it's going to be kind of similar, but we're hoping to really get past all that, and 2021 is going to be a much better year for all of us. So with that, again, I'd like to welcome Councilmember Cole and Councilmember Wong. This was supposed to be a short meeting, but our city manager likes to talk a lot, so typically it's, it does go a lot quicker. Just kidding, city manager.
I've got more to say.
Yeah, I bet. So.
Yeah, I also
Go ahead.
Welcome
Go ahead,
Councilmember
Councilmember
Cole,
Thorson.
Councilmember Wong. Sorry, forgot to say that, but congratulations and looking forward to working with both of you.
Good. So at this time, we have no closed sessions, and I need a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
By Councilmember Cole, second by Councilmember Wong. All those any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Jenny, if you take the roll.
Councilmember Thorson,
Aye.
Councilmember Peterson,
Aye.
okay. Councilmember Cole,
Aye.
Councilmember Wong,
Aye.
Mayor Furlong.
Aye. Motion is adjourned.